Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, folks, the NCAA has changed some rules, and they've been passed because of a little bit of assistance from the Michigan Wolverines and Connor Stallion. So let's get into this. John Luke, help me out.
Engage.
Thanks, Picard. All right, folks, what we're going to have in 2024, we're going to have two different rules change, actually three. The first one is we will have a 2-minute warning in the second quarter. We'll also have a 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter. So that's 2 timeouts, exactly like the NFL. And if you'll remember, they changed a lot of the clock rules last year. That's why games kind of flew, or it felt like they did, only there was a ton of commercials. Of course, we were promised there wouldn't be a ton of commercials, which, you know, whatever. But anyway, they do keep the clock rolling on first downs, and they do keep the clock rolling if you go out of bounds. Well, with 2 minutes left in the first half and second half, that doesn't happen. And of course, now you'll have the 2-minute warnings. So the coach has really got like 4 timeouts. He's got his 3 plus the new one added each half. And again, that's moving towards the NFL. Now, that's the first rule change. The second rule change is helmet communication. Now, as you know, we had a huge scandal last year with Connor Stallions and Michigan.
It's got to be America's team.
And all of that, where they were allegedly sending people, well, it's more than allegedly at this point, sending people ahead to forward scout. They were taking out their cell phones, was the report, and they would record all the signs and signals that the assistant coaches were sending out to the players. And then they would take them back. And our understanding is they would figure out the plays because they could watch the play that happened and look at the signals, and, you know, you can figure that out over time. And they got really good at it, it's my understanding, which was a huge violation. You weren't allowed to forward scout, and you certainly weren't allowed to record the coaches sending out the plays or the signals. You remember what happened with New England on that whole sign stealing thing or recording practices, et cetera. And my understanding is Connor Stallions is not cooperating with that whole investigation with the NCAA. I think he's focused on his used vacuum cleaner business.
I said, don't disturb you, I'm cleaning my room.
Yeah, and I think it's going pretty good. So for my Vols, who already go incredibly fast, being able to communicate from coach to quarterback immediately like that means we're only going to go faster. Now, last year we didn't go as fast as we did the previous 2 years when we had Hendon Hooker because Joe Milton didn't like to go that fast. Well, with Ncaa, I don't believe that'll be a problem. And we can go back to really flying, which is when this offense is really at its best. So I'm loving this rules change. Now, they're probably still going to send out the signs and do all that crazy stuff that they do. With the signals and all that, because really that lets every player know what the play is going to be without huddling. But the nice thing about being able to communicate directly like that is you can add some stuff. You can say, you know, let's just say it's to Nico. Hey, Nico, by the way, in case you hadn't noticed, that quarterback is sneaking up on all these bubble screens. What we're going to do right now is we're going to burn that guy. Okay. Wideout's going to pretend he's going to bubble screen. He's going to take off. And see, they can communicate that to him and say, hey, the cornerback's sneaking up. He's sneaking up. Or the free safety's backing off. And you can hit him across the middle with your slot receiver. So they're going to be able to add some things that they can't do from the sidelines. I think it's going to help offenses quite a bit and probably kind of streamline the game a little bit. Eventually, they'll probably get away from the signals and doing all that. But it may take a year because, you know, creature of habit, man. People are used to doing things a certain way. And, of course, Jim Harbaugh took off to the NFL, so he's not going to have any ramifications from the whole sign-stealing scandal. And Connor Stallions, of course, resigned, and he's not cooperating. So I don't know what all they're going to do something to Michigan. You can just count on that. The question is what? They even talked about trying to go after the administration of Michigan and trying to change some NCAA rules so they could go after them since the coaches left. But I don't know how far that's really going to fly because, you know, it's not like they fired Jim Harbaugh. Oh, no, they were trying to sign him to a $12 million deal. Well, they couldn't keep up with the Chargers. They offered him $16 million a year, and Jim took off.
Brave Sir Robin ran away.
No!
Bravely ran away, away.
I didn't!
And look, they were getting ready to hammer him with show cause, and they were going to suspend him and do all that like they'd already done. They suspended him already 6 games for various reasons. Last year, part of it was the sign stealing thing. So he did the right thing for himself, was to get out of Dodge. And he left out of Dodge with a national championship. And Michigan did a good job of circling the wagons. You know, it was them against the world, and it worked out good for them. They did get a natty. What's going to happen to them after this, we'll see. Supposedly the NCAA is doing a rush. The NCAA doesn't even know what the word rush means. What does that mean? Instead of 5 years, it's going to take 2 years? And realize they hired 40 more investigators, and then, of course, the Vols knocked the crap out of them. They can't do anything on NIL. So I guess those guys are sitting around twiddling their thumbs, making a check. But anyway, there's one other rule change, and that's tablets. You're going to be allowed to have tablets on the sidelines, both teams. And that'll help them look at pictures of the defense and all those sorts of things in a quicker fashion. I don't know how much help that is. Probably a lot of help. But anyway, they are going to be allowed to have tablets. So those are the 3 changes for 2024, and it should make it very interesting. I think this will make the game a little bit more smooth, and I do think it's good they added the 2-minute warnings because the game was going by so fast. You know, when you're used to getting a timeout whenever you get a first down in college football like we've done forever, and then to suddenly the clock's always running, and then even when you go out of bounds, the clock just immediately starts running, that was making the game go really fast. And we only get so many games a year. So this is going to allow us to get a couple more plays. It seems like we lost about 10% of football last year because of the rules changes. They were getting like 7 to 10% less plays. So this will get us at least a play or 2 more back, which is a good thing. Anyway, those are the rules changes right now that will affect 2024. If you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all this college football sports news. And if you've not subscribed right here, hit this little button. It won't cost you a dime, and it helps me out. I'd appreciate it.
Come on. Come on. Oh, okay.
And right over here is the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.